Welcome to my channel. We see a taxi drive over the San Francisco Bridge with only one passenger, a woman going to an apartment in San Francisco's Marine to buy fake IDs. After the young man answers her door, he asks from Adeline Bowman to speak more quietly because his father works the night shift. Young boy asks her why she decided to be 29 forever and not younger. Adeline smiles and says that he is very kind. When he leaves her, she asks him why he is making fake birth certificates when he has more intelligence and potential. She also points out that the autographed baseballs on his desk reveal his real name. "It's the little things that make him go to jail," she replies. After finishing her work, Adeline returns home and meets her dog with a warm greeting. She prepares most of her belongings for relocation. After a while of eating cake and looking at old photos, she explains to her dog that she will enjoy the new city and that her great-grandmother's mother was born in several cities beyond. Finally, Adeline gets into a taxi to go to work at the library's Office of Archives. After arriving at work, Adeline's colleague asks her to sort the old movies. Adeline enters a room with a box of movies and starts watching the movies, and her memories come alive. She was born on New Year's Day in 1908. When Adeline was walking on the beach with her mother, the wind causes Adeline's hat to fall, and the man who will be her future husband takes the hat. They get married, and after a while they give birth to a daughter. Unfortunately, while building the bridge, Adeline's husband dies due to an accident, and became a widow when her husband suffered an accident during the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge. One fateful night, as she drives to her parents' house, an inexplicable snowstorm hits. While crossing the bridge, Adeline's car slips and falls into the river, and at the same time, a big lightning strikes the car, which causes an unnatural phenomenon. Adeline freezes at the age of 29 and will not age anymore. Initially, the effects are imperceptible, but as her daughter, played by Ellen Burstyn as an elderly woman, ages, the truth becomes more apparent. One day, a policeman pulls her over and seizes her identification as it states she is in her late 40s. Determined to uncover a cure for her condition, she relocates and spends a year conducting research at a medical college. But alas, she cannot find an explanation for her inability to age. On a stormy night, she is walking home alone when she notices two FBI agents tailing her. Before she knows it, they force her into a car and attempt to take her on a plane. However, she manages to break free from the trunk and realizes that the only way to evade the law is to live a life on the run, constantly changing her appearance and identity every decade. She shares her plan with her grown-up daughter in a tearful farewell before setting off on her new life. Adeline's heart swells with a mix of nostalgia and melancholy as she adds a cosigner to her new identity account. The memories flood back to the day she first opened the account, her hands shaking with excitement and fear. She had invested in Xerox back then, and it had paid off handsomely, securing her financial future. But now, as she plans to leave everything behind and start anew on a farm in Oregon, the weight of her past threatens to crush her. One day when Adeline was at work and was talking to her colleagues. Meanwhile, a man came in to deliver some books. Adeline and Alice fell in love when they saw each other. They talked to each other for several minutes. Then, while leaving, Alice asks Adeline to go out together. For their next date, Adeline visits Ellis's apartment where they share hot dogs, wine, and listen to jazz. They spend the night together. After some time together, Adeline Bodley, full of pain and loneliness of a normal life, decides to leave Alice because she has no explanation for what happened to her. At this time, Adeline loses her dog due to illness, and all of these cases together make Adeline call her daughter to meet her. But Adeline's happy moments are short-lived. In a conversation with her daughter, who looks more like her grandmother, she talks about moving to a retirement home in Arizona, leaving Adeline devastated. She had hoped to move to Oregon to be closer to her daughter. Her daughter urges her to stop running away from her past, insisting that the people who were chasing her have long since passed away. In the midst of all this, Adeline has a vivid flashback to a mysterious man fidgeting with an engagement ring. She never meets him, and the memory haunts her. As a result, she avoids Ellis's calls until he shows up uninvited at her cheap Chinatown apartment. Adeline is rattled and demands to know how he found her, pushing him away yet again. As Adeline looks through old photographs, her loneliness becomes palpable. She has recently lost her dog, and the void in her life is profound. Filled with regret, she returns to Ellis's workplace to apologize. He takes her to an old drive-in movie theater, and she reminisces about its history as if she had lived through it, which she had. They drink wine and admire the stars on the ceiling. He invites her to his parents' 40th anniversary party, and she accepts. As they drive to the party, Adeline jokes about having 9 lives, and she picks up Ellis's sister. When they arrive at Ellis's house, William Jones, Harrison Ford, greets Adeline and calls her by her real name. She explains that he knew her mother, and he becomes visibly shaken. The next day, William can't stop talking about Adeline, which annoys his wife. A flashback reveals that William and Adeline met while she was living in England, and he was a soldier studying medicine. They both returned to America together, and she encouraged him to pursue his dream of astronomy. William was the one with the engagement ring. Later, the family plays trivia, and Adeline wins by pretending to not know the answer and then stunning everyone with her knowledge. William notices a scar on her left hand, which he had stitched up after a hiking accident. He searches for a picture to confirm that he isn't losing his mind. And he catches up with Adeline and asks if the scar is why she left him. She confirms his suspicion and runs away, explaining that she doesn't know how to stop running. Adeline writes a note to Ellis, packs, grabs his car keys, and leaves. Ellis returns home, confused, and William doesn't offer any explanations. Ellis then drives his dad's car to chase after Adeline. Adeline's heart is heavy as she drives through the woods. She can't run anymore, not from her past, not from love. She picks up the phone and calls her daughter. In that moment, they both know what needs to be done. She is done running. As she turns the car around, a tow truck comes out of nowhere and slams into her car, then speeds off, leaving Adeline for dead. The snow begins to fall once again, and Ellis pulls up to the scene. He sees her lifeless body and falls to his knees, devastated. The ambulance rushes her to the hospital, and Ellis follows close behind. She wakes up to Ellis sitting by her bedside, tears streaming down his face. It's time to come clean. Adeline's daughter arrives and sees Ellis. "I'm her grandmother," she says. Adeline tells her that he knows, and they both cry tears of joy as they embrace him. 1 year later, Ellis and Adeline are getting ready for a New Year's Eve party. Adeline checks herself in the mirror and is shocked to see a gray hair. For the first time in decades, she's aging again. She's human again. The combination of the defibrillator and hypothermia have done their work. They head out to the party, and on the way, they see a bright light in the sky. It's Della the meteor, 50 years too late. It shines brighter than ever, illuminating their journey into a new year and a new life.